yogis, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mombi, and today I will be guiding you through a yoga class for lower back pain relief. This is a great sequence for you if you struggle with lower back pain or tension in this area of your body. You will need a block for this class, so if you have one at home, please have it close to your mat. If you do not have a block at home, grab a thick book like a dictionary and use it in place of the block. Come to lie down on your back. We will begin in a reclined spinal twist. I want you to draw your knees in toward your chest and just starting off with small rocks from side to side, massaging your back on the mat. Taking slow, deep breaths here, bringing your attention inwards. Bring your arms out wide into a T. Inhale and shift your hips over to the left. Then as you exhale, slowly lower your knees over to the right. Try to keep your knees stacked here and have your feet directly below your knees, forming a 90-degree angle at your knees. Slowly gaze over to the left and remember to keep breathing. Make sure both of your shoulders are down on the mat and allow yourself to release all of your body weight to the ground, relaxing your hips, your lower belly, your back, and your shoulders. Take one more deep inhale here in the twist, and as you exhale, use your core to slowly bring your knees back to center. Before we twist over to the other side, bring your hands to your knees and start to draw circles with your knees. 3 circles in one direction and 3 circles in the other direction. Great job, guys. Coming over to the other side, I want you to bring your arms out wide into a T. Inhale and shift your hips over to the right this time, and as you exhale, slowly lower your knees over to the left. Once again, I want you to keep your knees stacked here and have your feet directly below your knees, forming a 90-degree angle at your knees. Slowly gaze over to the right and remember to take slow, deep breaths here. Make sure both of your shoulders are grounded on the mat and consciously surrender all of your body weight to the ground, relaxing your hips, your lower belly, your back, and your shoulders. Take one more deep inhale here, and as you exhale, use your core to slowly bring your knees back to center. Now, bringing your hands to your knees, and we'll do the same little knee circles we did earlier. 3 in one direction, and 3 in the other direction. Now is the time to get your block or a big book if you don't have a block at home. We are going to move into bridge pose with the block in between your thighs. Strengthening the muscles on your inner thighs is one great way of releasing lower back pain. So bring your block in between your upper thighs, roll your shoulders down and away from your ears, and have your feet close enough to your hips that you can touch your heels with your fingertips. Inhale here and squeeze the block with your thighs, and as you exhale, slowly peel your hips and lower back off the mat, coming into bridge pose. Your core should be engaged here, and you're reaching your tailbone towards your knees. Keep squeezing the block and make sure that your weight is evenly distributed across your feet. One more big breath here. And slowly lower back down to the mat. Take your time here. Keep the block where it is and walk your feet away from your hips without bringing your legs all the way down on the mat. Flex your feet so that only your heels are on the mat. Bend your elbows and have the backs of your upper arms on the mat and your palms are facing each other. Inhale in, squeezing your block, and as you exhale, slowly lift your hips off the mat. Your hips will only come up a few inches off the mat. Push into your heels, dragging them back towards your shoulders. Squeeze your block, lifting up a little bit higher, a little bit more, and slowly lower down. Release your block to the side of your mat and inhale, reaching your arms up overhead, stretching your entire body as you reach your arms and legs in opposite directions. Inhale and release as you exhale. Hug your knees into your chest and slowly rock up to a seated position with your legs crossed in front of you. Moving into seated cat-cows, I want you to bring your hands to the front of your knees and inhale, arching your back and pushing your chest between your shoulders as you look up. Exhale, round through your back, straighten your arms and tuck your chin to your chest. Great job. Inhale, arch your back, lift your gaze, and exhale, round through your spine. Tuck your chin into your chest. 3 more rounds. Inhale, arch your back, lift your gaze, and exhale, round through your spine. Tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, arch your back, look up. Exhale, round through your spine, arms straight. Last one here. Inhale, look up, arch your back, and slowly exhale, rounding through your spine. Inhale to release back to a neutral spine. And moving into downward facing dog now, I want you to keep a generous bend in your knees for this one in order to protect your lower back here. I want you to focus on lengthening through your spine, opening your shoulders, and reaching your chest towards your thighs. Remember, you want your fingers spread wide on the mat, giving you a wider base of support. One more breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to draw your right knee in toward your chest and then step that foot at the top of the mat in between your hands. Drop your back knee down and come into a gentle twist here by bringing your right hand to the top of your right thigh, keeping your left hand grounding into the mat, and start to look over your right shoulder as you gently push into your right thigh. Melt your hips down towards the mat and keep your chest open, remembering to breathe. Keep a long spine here and avoid any rounding through your back. Just a few more seconds. And bring your gaze down to the ground, untuck your back toes, lift your knee off the mat, and gently step your left foot to the top of the mat, bringing your feet as wide as the mat, and with your knees bent generously, I want you to fold over your legs. Grab a hold of your 2 big toes with your peace fingers, and I want you to inhale, lift and lengthen your spine halfway. And as you exhale, bend your elbows away from each other, forward fold. Keep your knees bent here and make sure that your upper thighs are in contact with your lower belly. Decompressing your spine here and let your head hang heavy, releasing your neck. Keep reaching the crown of your head towards the ground, and remember to keep your upper thighs in contact with your lower belly the entire time. One more deep breath here. And release the hold of your toes. Bring your heels in, toes out, and slowly lower down into your yogi squat. Use your elbows to push your knees more open and bring your hands at your heart. Try to keep your heels grounded on the mat, and if you can't ground your heels down, bring your fingertips to the mat beside you for some added support here. Make sure your back is flat, your spine is long, your chest is open, and you are breathing deeply. Take your final breath in Malasana. Plant your palms into the mat and slowly step back into your gentle downward facing dog with your knees bent generously. Let's repeat on the other side. So first I want you to inhale, and as you exhale, draw your left knee in towards your chest and then step that foot at the top of the mat in between your hands. Drop your back knee down and come into a gentle twist here by bringing your left hand to the top of your left thigh, keeping your right hand grounding into the mat as you start to look over your left shoulder and gently push into your left thigh. Melt your hips down towards the mat and keep your chest open. Deep breaths here. Maintain a long spine and make sure to avoid any rounding through your back. Just one more deep breath here, and bring your gaze down to the ground. Untuck your back toes, lift your knee off the mat, and gently step your right foot to the top of the mat, bringing your feet as wide as the mat. And with your knees bent generously, let's start to fold over the legs. Grab a hold of your two big toes with your peace fingers, and I want you to inhale, lift and lengthen your spine, halfway lift. And as you exhale, bend your elbows away from each other, forward fold. You can deepen this stretch by bringing your palms underneath your feet. Remember to keep your knees bent here and make sure that your upper thighs remain in contact with your lower belly, decompressing your spine. Allow your head to hang heavy here and keep reaching the crown of your head towards the ground. One more deep breath here. And release your hands, bring your heels in, toes out, and slowly lower down into Malasana. Use your elbows to push your knees more open and bring your hands at your heart. Try to keep your heels grounded on the mat, and remember, if you can't ground your heels, you are more than welcome to bring your fingertips to the mat beside you for some added support. Make sure your back is flat, your spine is long, your chest is open, and you're breathing deeply. Take one final breath in your yogi squat. Then plant your palms in front of you and step your feet back into downward facing dog for only 2 deep breaths. Bring your knees down to the mat. Shift both feet over to one side and come to sit with your legs in front of you. We're moving into turtle pose, which is very similar to butterfly pose, but is a more passive stretch. Bring the soles of your feet together to touch and let your knees fall away from each other with your heels further away from your pelvis so that your knees are bent a little bit more than a 90-degree angle, forming a diamond shape here with your legs. Shift your hips until you can feel your sit bones grounding on the mat, and you can use your hands to pull your glutes out of the way if that helps. Then coming into a passive fold here, I want you to gently hinge at your hips, and depending on your range of motion, you can prop yourself up with your elbows on your feet, or if you are able to, you can reach your arms underneath your legs with your palms facing up, and rounding through your upper back, allow gravity to pull you deeper into the fold. Remember, this is a passive stretch, so only go as far as your body has access to today. You want to find a position where you can be able to relax and breathe deeply here. Just take 5 more deep breaths here in turtle pose. See if you can soften between your shoulder blades a little bit more. Take your final deep breath and very slowly start to ease out of the pose. If you were threaded through, slowly use your hands to walk yourself back up. Bring your hands behind you and step your feet to about hips distance or wider. Then drop both knees over to each side for a quick windshield wipe just to reset your hips. Then come to sit cross-legged at the center of your mat. Close your eyes here and bring your hands in prayer at your heart center. Taking a moment now to thank yourself for showing up today and honoring your body with this quick practice. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope your lower back feels a little bit more loose. Make sure to save this one for later, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!